Hey guys, welcome back. As always, my name is Leyzar, and today, my friends, we're gonna be discussing a build for Gara Prime. Do you guys know Gara? She's an amazing Warframe, either the Prime or the normal version, but of course, if you want the absolute best, you'll go for the Prime. So let's talk directly about the build with no nonsense or anything of the sort. I'm gonna try to keep this under 10 minutes, God willing. Now, right now, her most powerful ability is gonna be Splinter Storm, and how high you can stack this ability will determine how efficient you are and how much damage you're gonna be able to AoE apply to the enemies around you. Now you can see this one shows modded. If you show base stats, you will see the big difference between the two. So let's jump into the build and see how exactly this one works. For an aura, you do have a couple of options because I do like giving you guys a couple of options. I run with rejuvenation because Gara, especially when it comes to high level survival, does have a few issues. For example, health regeneration is a problem. Damage mitigation is not a concern, definitely not, considering her ability. However, health regeneration is. There's a couple of ways to fix that, and if you don't want to drop pads, and especially in Steel Path, considering the 1 minute cooldown, rejuvenation is a way you can go. Also, Arcane Grace, you should take this one into consideration. 2 Umbral mods, my friends. 4 mine to this one, but you can get away with 3 if you renounce Reflex Guard, but more on that just a tad later. Vitality and Intensify, and of course when it comes to power strength, we also got Transient Fortitude. This is gonna be an option slot, and I'll explain in a second. Streamline, you gotta have this one. This reduces the cost of your ability by a significant amount, and it will matter when you're counting energy if you ever get that far, which you really shouldn't. Range on Gara, yes or no? Definitely yes. I would love to have 2 range mods on her, but there's simply not enough space on the build. Adaptation for survivability. Now you can max it out. It's not really gonna matter all that much, so you can go 2 from the top if you don't want to invest 1 additional Forma, because you're gonna have to Forma one more time, and it's gonna have to be an Umbra Forma unless you change your aura. If you don't like the rejuvenation way, you can go the melee way, my friends, and of course the melee way is gonna go with steel charge and 60% melee damage, and of course that will help Gara overall. But you are renouncing that health regeneration. Why 3 health per second might not seem like a lot, when you're actually getting really hurt by the enemies, you will see it does matter. Once again, one of her issues is health and health regeneration. Another issue is energy. Usually this is fixed by Arcane Energize, and if you in case you don't have Arcane Energize, you can simply go with Hunter Adrenaline instead. And you're gonna have to sacrifice Transient Fortitude if you want yourself a more comfortable build, right? Something you don't need to pay attention as much, and it's still super effective. You simply renounce Transient Fortitude. You accept the fact that you're not gonna stack as high as fast because you are gonna lack some ability strength, but you're gonna get that self-assurance, you're gonna get that energy, and you're gonna get that duration back that Transient Fortitude does take. Prime continuity is a must, but of course if you don't have Prime mods, go for normals. Now let's talk about Reflex Guard. The thing is, Gara's 1 ability is basically what determines how high you can stack your Splinter Cell. How hard do you hit with your 1 ability? Shattered Lash. Now this one has 2 damage types. You got puncture damage and slash damage. If you're gonna do a quick tap, like so, the ranged attack, that is puncture damage. If you're gonna keep your key pressed down, like so, that's gonna be slash damage. And the damage this one does is directly tied in to your melee weapon. Now, if you guys remember, if you're older in Warframe, do you remember how the old exalted weapons used to work? Anybody? Anybody at all? Yes, basically it kind of works like that. You have a couple of choice for a quote-unquote stat stick for Gara. The Jaw Sword is one solid option, but you can also go for something like the Skana. You can also go for something like a Pangolian Sword. Basically any melee weapon in Warframe can be made into a good stat stick for Gara, but this is another topic entirely. If you want to know exactly how to build the ideal stat stick for Gara, link the cards right now. If not, you can just go copy pasta on the build. If you don't have a Riven, simply use another 90% mod. Keep in mind that your IPSs will have to be slash if you use the hold down ability, the frontal cleave, but if you're going for the quick tap, for the puncture damage, then you're gonna have to replace all your slash mods for puncture mods. So do bear that one in mind. Back to Lady Gara. Well, energy, like I said, is a concern at times. So again, you can renounce Transient Fortitude. That's 2 of her problems. Her third is gonna be duration, but again, if you renounce Transient Fortitude, duration is not gonna be an issue. I like my builds to be somewhat comfortable. Because if you're gonna do the same bloody thing over and over and over again, it's simply gonna get tiring. But if you want a bit more punch, you gotta go with Transient Fortitude. Again, if you don't have Energize, you're not really gonna have that much of an option. What else is there to say? Weapons for Lady Gara. Well, the last problem that Gara does have are nullifier bubbles. Now, of course, in a Grenier mission, this won't matter because, you know, they don't have bubbles. But if you do come across bubbles, you gotta pop it. Yeah, definitely pop the bubbles. You can do that with a really fast secondary weapon such as the Dex Furious. But what do you do, my friends, when there's a whole lot of enemies and you don't know which one is the nullifier anymore? They're all clumped up together. There's waves upon waves coming at you. You don't see who you're supposed to hit. Enter the Mitre. Now, don't get me wrong. These two weapons in Steel Path, in high level path, they're not gonna do much of anything because they're range weapons and we're currently still waiting on the range weapon rework. Now build your Mitre around the Neutralizing Justice augment. I recommend multi-shot, fire rate, reload speed, and you know what? Magazine capacity is not gonna be a bad idea either. Again, terminal velocity, you should also have this one so it's a bit more effective. We are not building the Mitre to deal damage with, we're just using Neutralizing Justice, so bear that one in mind. That's the way you can fix Gara's issues. Technically, in execution, you are gonna have to pay attention. Back to Reflex Guard though, I didn't want to point a couple of things out. You can't build combo counter for your one ability for Shattered Lash by simply meleeing your targets. You can't, because you're not gonna get the chance to all that often. Simply because as soon as you get in range, your two ability is gonna clear house. So you don't get the hit with your melee. There's another problem as well. Gara's passive ability. Are you guys familiar with Gara's passive ability? It might not seem like much, but it's a chance to create a radial blind lasting 10 seconds when exposed to bright light. And when the enemies get blinded, they don't attack you anymore. Which is a bit of a concern when using this mod right here. It's still the best option, Reflex Guard. As long as you are in the shade, the passive is not really gonna be much of a concern, but you will face many situations where you simply blind your enemies and they don't want to attack you. Do you guys know how to auto block in Warframe? Now, there's a way to block. You simply change to your melee weapon like so and right click. But if you wanna auto block, what you gotta do is use one of your range weapons and simply do a single quick melee and run around like this. And when somebody attacks you, you're gonna do an auto block and build up that combo counter. I want to say that there is a huge, absolutely huge difference between building up stacks, building your two stacks without combo counter and with combo counter. And one last thing which I do want to mention, the helmet system. Replace Gara's free ability with Eclipse. Yes, Eclipse will buff up the damage of your one, therefore more stacks. Allow me to show you the actual effects, but for that we're gonna have to hop on over to the simulacrum. As a base, let's take, without any buffs whatsoever, we're gonna activate Splinter Storm, simply go for, make sure to cancel it quickly unless you want to apply some crowd control or you want to defend something so you don't burn any unnecessary energy, then pop it like it's hot. How much did we get there? About 50,000. Ha! That's not really a whole lot, now is it? What if we activate Eclipse and we got 338% buff because of all the power strength we got? Now we're running on 50k, let's refresh it. How much are we gonna get this time? We're up to 265,000, so basically you went from 50k all the way up to 215,000 per single cast. Now let's try it with a combo counter of 12. Damn it, I blinded them. You remember what I said earlier? Now they're blind, they can't attack me. I just need to wait. Hold on, let me refresh. There we go. I refresh my stuff. I'm not gonna detonate because then they're gonna die. You see, they're blinded right now. I don't have a sentinel, I don't have anything. That's Gara's passive, and they're not attacking me because they're getting perma-blind. Auto block works like a charm, and there we go. We are on 12x combo counter. And now, my friends, it's the time to stack. There we go, like so. Move out of the thing. Boom, 800,000, my friends. That was a single cast. Absolutely bloody insane. So that's what a combo counter of 12 can do to your stacks. One more time with 12. Boom, 1.55 million. Absolutely bloody insane. Now I know what you guys are gonna say, dude, simulacrum shmimulacrum, this is a Warframe build, surely you need to show us some actual gameplay. So haha! Even though I'm not an advocate for steel path, I get why you need that, so off to the path of steel. And we just started, my friends. I think we've been here for just a couple of seconds. And as you can see, I already got my combo counter up to, what is that? Up to 8. Because when you meet a situation such as this, when you're parrying left and right, you should make sure you leave it alone until you get to combo counter 12. And then just kapow them to death. It's a very easy way to get your combo counter really up. So as you can see, we're already on 660k. I'm just gonna make my way over here to the point of points and, well, start stacking. Basically rinse and repeat. While it may not be terribly exciting gameplay, it's, well, the gameplay, as you can see. And now we're up to 900k. Again, if you are mad about stacking, if you simply like those big numbers, and I'm not judging, I like big numbers myself. As you can see, it's very, very easy to get them done. Survival, at least at this point, is not going to be a concern. The enemies are level 110-ish or something along those lines. 1.4 mil on the next cast, so we got something like 500,000, 530,000 on that cast. You guys could do the math if you want to. It's a very powerful build, it's a very efficient build, and if you're into Steel Path Survival or something of the sort, you're definitely gonna have a good time with Lady Gara. She's an amazing Warframe, I highly recommend her. But that said, let's draw some conclusions via gameplay. As you can see, this is live gameplay, this is not me talking over some footage, this is actually me playing the game, because I believe there is no better showcase of a Warframe's powers than this. In case I screw up, you guys get to see it live. Don't get me wrong, this is very powerful, so if you're the kind of person that is just into powerful, dude, I just want the most powerful thing, then you're gonna love Gara, because you're simply gonna outscale your enemies. It's as simple as that. They're not gonna scale strong enough for you. You're always gonna outscale them with your damage to the point where you get one-shotted, and that will be that. But you really gotta stay a long time in order for that to happen, so I wouldn't worry all that much. The problem I have with Gara, the gameplay gets extremely repetitive, and I know what you're gonna say, dude, that's subjective. For me, it's not very repetitive. Well, I don't know, do it for a couple of hours and get back to me. Do it for a couple of days or a couple of months and get back to me. On the other hand, you know what? Every Warframe is repetitive if you think about it like that, so there you go. She doesn't really have a whole lot of weaknesses. The issue with the health, we dealt with that using the arcane, using rejuvenation, so health is not a problem. Energy at times is a problem, so if you're doing Steel of Path, make sure to only use your energy pad when you actually need it. Arcane Energize does help a lot, especially if you're solo and you got 1,000 enemies coming at you like this. Basically, you're always gonna have energy, but that's simply not always gonna be the case, especially if you play with friends. Damage is not an issue, survivability is not an issue, sustainability sometimes is a very slight issue, but as long as you know what you're doing, it's all good. You will notice that I got like 24 million or something like that, but what I did wanted to showcase is that, hey, nullifiers showed up. See? Pop the bubble and go through. It's as simple as that. It's really not all that difficult, but I will say that it works a whole lot better with your, in case I didn't mention this, with the augment for the mitre. Then it does work for your secondary weapon, especially when you got a whole lot of enemies clumped up like this, right? Because you're not going to be able to accurately hit the correct enemy with your secondary, so bear that one in mind. I forget a whole lot to actually keep my melee weapon on quick draw McGraw. I do forget that a whole lot, so sometimes your combo counter will drop, but because of Naramon, it's really not going to be an issue. You're just going to get it back up. Oh, Misery's here. Hi, Misery! He doesn't say a whole lot. Oh, the guy with the crown showed up. You know, the guy with the coin? Yeah, he showed up. Didn't say much of anything. So this is gameplay. Only been here for like 15 minutes. 15 minutes, there you go, on the nose. And as you can see, not a whole lot is happening. Basically, rinse and repeat, but a lot more enemies. Nullifiers showed up, which of course makes things more difficult because you gotta pay attention to what you're doing, yada yada, etc. In the sense that you gotta pop that bubble using the mitre or using your secondary, depending on your choice. And that's it. Rinse, repeat, do it again and again and again and again and again and again. Oh, you want me to kill Misery? Here we go. Misery! Over here, buddy. Let's Tunga. And by Tunga, I mean tank. Where'd he go? And that's pretty much it. But there are two things that I did forget to mention before queuing the gameplay. First of all, my combo counter never really gets fully resetted. Instead, it slowly trickles down. And that's because of the Naramon talent called Power Spike. So make sure you have that one enabled. And second of all, I know a lot of you guys are big fans of the Roar ability, and you can use that on Gara instead of Eclipse. But the honest truth is that it's simply outpowered heavily by Eclipse. And you can also use Eclipse as damage mitigation in case you need it. So do bear that one in mind. As always, my name has been Leyzar. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, favorite, share, and subscribe if you enjoy the content. And if you got any sorts of feedback for me, by all means, my friends, drop it in the comment section down below. And if you love the content, hey, consider supporting us via Patreon. Link in the cards right now. Until next time, my friends, bye-bye.